Hello everybody. Cloud functions. So these are Firebase Cloud Functions, and these are functions that actually you code and you deploy on the cloud, on Firebase Cloud. And it allows you to move part of the logic of your application from the actual mobile app or the web application to the cloud. And it has a lot of benefits and so on. You know, you can do a lot of things on the cloud. The computing is happening on the cloud, so then it has access to the database, it has access to the authentication system, it has access to the file system. So you can run these functions on the cloud. So in this screencast, we're going to look at how to set up your development environment. Okay, first of all, you need to, before we start anything, you need to install Node.js. So you go into nodejs.org and download. One option is download the installation package, and then you double click and it will install Node.js. So basically you should be able to do this in the terminal. You should be able to do node -v, and it should give you the Node version that you have installed. Okay, so that's the first step. The first step is to install Node.js. Then you go and to Firebase and read a little bit about it, but then there is getting started. There is one command that we need to install. So basically we would like to install the Firebase tools, and these Firebase tools are the Firebase command line interface, which is the CLI, right? Okay, so we copy this, copy here. Now we'll paste it here and try to run it. And basically it's asking for permission, so I will do sudo, and here it is, and it's going to install the package. Okay, because it's trying to install it globally. -g is global, so that's why it's asking for permission. But anyhow, so that's this. If you are using a Windows system, when you open your terminal, you should open it as administrator, and that would take care of this. Okay, so now we installed it. So now if you go and say Firebase -h, it will show you that the command line interface is working, and what are the commands or the subcommands that you could use. We'll look at them in a little bit. So now we have installed Node.js and we have installed the Firebase CLI. All right. Now we'll look at initializing the project and all this fun stuff in a little bit, right? What also you need to install is Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code, which is the IDE that we will use to develop. So basically you download it and install it. Okay. So download, install Visual Studio Code also, just because we are going to use it. Now what we need to do also is you need to go to a specific folder that you're going to deploy your project in. Okay, so basically we'll go into a specific folder. So let's say we go to CD, I'll go to my desktop and I'll create this desktop, and then I'm gonna create a new folder. So I'm going to make the directory. I'll call it, for example, let's say demo cloud code. Right, here it is. See, demo cloud code, and here it is. The whole thing is empty, right? Okay, now in order to start using Firebase, we need to tie the CLI, the Firebase CLI, to your Firebase account. You know, not of course we have to tell it which project and so on, but you have to first tell the CLI who are you, right? So what we need to do is we do Firebase login, right? So when you do Firebase login, notice what's going to happen. Boom, and basically allow Firebase to collect information. Yes, here it is, and basically it opens up in the browser automatically, and it says that this is my account, and it asks you which account do you want to use. Choose an account, so I'll click here. And then it asks me, do you want to give it these permissions? I click allow. And then what this does is basically it allows Firebase CLI to access my account on Firebase. Okay, so now I went through this process. I have a project that I'm going to use, right? So it's the Firebase demo project that I'm going to use. And this process, now we have tied Firebase, the Firebase CLI, to my account. Okay, so now I would like to create a new project. So now I would like to create a new project. So here it is. If you look at how you run first the login to connect Firebase CLI to your account, and then basically I would like to do initialize the project. So I'll do Firebase inside that folder, because this is going to print working directory. This is my folder. I'm going to create a new project. So to do that, and that's going to create a project structure and so on. So make sure that it's in a separate folder so that you don't just have these, for example, in your root folder or whatsoever. So anyway, I'll do Firebase init, okay? And then it's going to tell you what do you want to include in your in this project. So basically, I want to include what components or what functions of Firebase or what services that Firebase provides that you want to include. So I want to include Firestore, all right, and I want to include functions, okay, and that's it. So I will use Firestore and functions. So click on enter now. Now, do you want to use an existing project that you have, or you want to create a new project? I want to use an existing project. Here it is. And then my project is called the Firebase demo, this one, right? So you pick which project you want and press enter. And then from here, you just press enter. This is the default would work. And then it asks you JavaScript or TypeScript. I'm going to use JavaScript for the Cloud Function language. Here it is, and click yes. I'm just clicking enter, right? So basically what this is doing is creating the folder structure of my project. Okay. Here it is, so clear. Now if I open that folder, you will see that this folder they created some stuff inside it. And as I told you, the folder is in my desktop, and here is the folder, and this is what the folder has, right? It created a folder called functions, and this is where you write your functions in the index.js, and we'll look at that in a little bit, okay? So now let's go back to Visual Studio Code. So I installed Visual Studio Code. I would also strongly recommend that in Visual Studio Code, you will see that this is an extension. These are very nice extensions that you could use. One of them is called the prettier dash code formatter. You can install it. So basically, how do you find and inspect? You just search for it here. You type prettier. Basically, I already have it installed. So prettier, and it will show up here, and then you can install it. I have it installed. If you don't have it installed, like for example, let's say I pick another one like this, and you just click install, it's going to install. The one I'm interested in is this one, prettier dash code formatter, right? It is nice and enables you to format your code. Okay, cool. So now I'd like to open the folder. So the folder that has, here it is, this folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag the folder, drop it here, and that opens the project for me. Here it is. Okay, so you can see here that now I have the functions side, and this is the index and so on, right? All right. So right now, let's build our first function, right? So I'm not going to do much to start with, but this is the, you can follow also the getting started, and we'll use the getting started for help and so on. But at the end of the day, I would like to create in the index. So basically, where am I right now? It's under the functions folder, and then there is an index.js. In the index.js, I would like to, there is an example function that they have. So basically, I'm going to use it. So basically, this is how the function is written. I'm just going to delete all these comments. I click save, and it automatically formats. But anyway, so here it is. This is it. So basically, this is a function called hello world, and this is an HTTP on request. This is going to create a REST function. All right, and we'll look at it in a little bit, right? So this is the function. It's doing some logging, and basically you can log also doing a cloud console.log, and you would say, for example, this is the hello from first or Firebase from hello world function, right? Something like that. All right, so here we are. And these functions always have to send back some kind of a response, right? And we'll look at what does that mean and so on in a little bit, right? So basically this is it. So this is the REST function. So now I have my first REST function, right? And now if I just make this window a little bit smaller, make the interface a little bit smaller here, and then fit everything together so that we could see all the three screens together. Okay, cool. So now you already have the function, right? Now, if you scroll down a little bit, install, we did all of that stuff automatically. Now, there are some imports that you see here already. The import of functions is at the top. So basically, this is how we import the Firebase functions library, and it's already imported, and that's all what you need for the time being. Here, they're asking you to add admins and functions. We're going to add them later, but for just to do the test of the hello, all we need to do is just just run the function this way, right? So basically now I want to run the function. So I want to run it locally. So you see here there is a command called Firebase emulator start. I'm going to go here and press enter. Okay. Now it's going to ask me, do you allow, blah, 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 and here it is. And it's doing something. It's building the project. It's compiling the code, creating the function, deploying it locally. So basically it deploys the function locally. And where is the function? The function is here. If you look here, it says that it deployed this function here. It's in local host. This is all locally. I'm not going to deploy it on the cloud yet. So then you go here, you press Control V and enter. And then you could see that this ran the function, and the function returns hello from Firebase. This is what it returns, what it sends back. And you could see the log. Here is the log. When you console.log, this means you are logging. This is how you are logging here, and it's logging. So basically we wrote our first function, and we're able to do that. Notice something also. See, if I edit my function, let's say I go in here and add another console message. So basically I have to print this twice, right? So now I go here and I refresh, and now it's going to, it should print it twice. So let's see. All right, so in the refresh, now we see here it's printing it twice. So now for this to happen, this project automatically recompiles the function again so that you could reuse it, and you have the latest one, but you have to save. You see it's automatically saving. You see here when I press enter, you see there is a circle at the top here. This circle indicates that this file hasn't been saved yet. But when I click outside, the file saves automatically. So in order to do that, and this also recompiles the function, and you can see here loaded functions definition of hello world again, right? Because I saved it. See, if when I do this and I go out, it saves and it should come back. See here, now it reloads the whole function again. So now how does this autosave happen? It's just something in Visual Studio. You go to preferences, settings, and then you could do autosave, right? And then here basically you will find this in the settings, and what I set it to is on focus change. So basically on focus change, and then you just close the settings, and then basically that's gonna take care of the on focus change. When you change the focus, it saves the file if the file wasn't saved. You could see here if I add some tests here and go out, and you will see now it should recompile the function also, right? Okay, cool. So now we're good here. We're able to run our first function. We'll look in the next video on how to create callable functions and how to add more features to this cloud function.